Hello, everybody. Hi. Happy Tuesday. It's really odd to be with you on Tuesday night, but I'm here for the weekly Facebook Live, and I normally do these Facebook Lives on Wednesday nights at 5 p.m. So if you're watching this and you're catching this on Tuesday at 5, I don't normally do Facebook Lives Tuesday at 5, but because of Thanksgiving, I'm doing it today. I go to the Poconos tomorrow morning. I've got 2 calls in the morning, and then I go to the Poconos where I stay through till Saturday, and then I come back on Saturday for my sister's birthday. So hi Heather, when you log on, say hi. If you're watching on replay, say hello. Let me know what you're doing for the holiday, if any. I mean, if you live in the United States, right? Thanksgiving. If you don't, you're probably not celebrating Thanksgiving, but let me know what you're doing for the next couple of days anyway. You might find that I'm not going to be on as frequently. Not because I don't love you all, but A, I do honor the holiday and spend time with family, and B, I'm going to the Poconos where we don't have a lot of reception of anything at all. So, but let me know what you're doing for Thanksgiving weekend, if anything. But I didn't want the Facebook Live to not happen, so I'm here. I see a couple of people logging in, logging out. Make sure you say hi to me. I can't tell who's logging in and out until you say hi. But I wanted to talk about this. I didn't want to go without a Facebook Live. And I was like, oh, Wednesday night, like I'm going to be in the car, just getting the Poconos. I didn't want this topic to go untalked about because it's actually being talked about across all the platforms where I am present. So what I mean by that is this week we're talking about, the importance of trusting yourself, how to stop doubting yourself so that you can stay in action, right? Because doubt is really one of the things that holds so many people back. So we're talking about that. But then on my podcast, I interviewed, I don't know how many of you have listened to my podcast episode yet, just came out this morning. But I interviewed Roger Lynn, and Roger Lynn is like a really big investor in the area. And he talked all about risk taking and how to invest, not just invest in real estate, but like invest in yourself, invest in your business. And so these themes overlap, right? The themes of like, how do you stay in action? How do you like keep moving forward on things that you want, that you know are good for you, that you know will grow your business, right? How do you stay in action on these? It overlaps with the same concepts that Roger was talking about around investing in your business, right? Because here's what I see. A lot of the times, the things that are going to move us forward are like the things that scare us the most, right? So how many of you, I'm curious, let's see, oh, Heather says, going back to a house tomorrow to finish decorating, get my free range. Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds good. That turkey sounds good. Just doing the mister, maybe a friend for keto style turkey dinner. Nice. This is the first year that Chuck and I haven't been in Barbados. So I've had a speaking engagement in Barbados every year for the past 3 years. And it didn't happen this year. It's actually happening next year. So we're back to the Caribbean next year. But this year we weren't in Barbados. It's very weird to actually not be in Barbados for Thanksgiving. So I'm excited to see Chuck's family. But how many of you, is there something that you just know would move your business forward right now, but you're hesitating on it? And I'm curious, right? Maybe it's an investment. Maybe it's hiring an assistant, or it's hiring a business coach, or it's investing in a certain software you need, or leasing an office building, or whatever it is, right? They're getting visible, starting a Facebook Live series, starting to send out newsletters. Like, what is something that you're thinking about doing in your business? And then you're like, yeah, except I'm like terrified to do that, right? Or not terrified, but you're feeling some fear. Something feels scary about it. I'm curious what that is for you. So the best way I can say is everything that's moved me forward in my life has felt scary, right? Everything that's moved me forward. And it's easy to see that looking backwards. It's harder to see it like going forwards, right? But like, and I actually listed them out, right? So going to law school was scary. I didn't know what law school was going to be like. I didn't know if I was going to do well, if I was going to graduate. Hi, Susie. I didn't know if I was going to if I was going to take the bar and do well and pass, right? So going to law school was scary. Starting my own law practice. So I don't know how many of you knew that, but when I say that I've had, 2 successful businesses, I've actually had 3. I just wouldn't call the law practice that successful. I mean, it was good. I was young. I was 23 and I decided to start my own law practice. So, I mean, the fact that I could do it and I could lease office space and I had clients and I ate and I paid all the bills, that was good, right? I don't know that I was making the smartest, soundest business decisions at age 23, right? But that was the foundation for growing the date coaching business and then this business so well, everything I learned there. But like starting my own law practice, that was super scary. I had no idea if that was going to work or not. Pretty much every relationship I've ever been in, right, was like, I don't know, will it work, will it not? I went on 35 dates in 35 days. So many of you know that, right? Because one relationship actually did not work out, and that spurred me going on 35 dates in 35 days. That was terrifying, right? I had no idea what was going to happen from that, or if that was going to work or not. But that changed my entire life, right? Becoming a dating coach, that was terrifying to me. It was scary. It definitely moved my life forward. It's why I'm here with you guys for the past, I was date coaching up until 2014, into 2014. So I've been business coaching really since like the end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So like it brought me here to you. Creating this community, changing the name of the community, changing the name of my business. So my business was called the Women's Business Garden, and then I changed it to Rita Made Me Do It. The name of this community used to be Women's Business Garden. I changed the name to the All-In Entrepreneur. I pitched the media and I got on the news, and all of that was terrifying. I hired an assistant, my very first assistant. Oh my God. When I hired my first assistant, she was like $10 an hour. And she was 5 hours a week, right? I was flipping out. I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't know. And then I hired another assistant at a higher rate for more hours. And I just hired another assistant at a higher rate for even more hours, right? Investing in coaches has terrified me, and definitely has moved my business forward. Raising my prices, right? I don't raise them all the time. I have small incremental increases throughout the year, and there's a way that I come up with them. I don't do like a big increase every year. But I don't know, I never know how that's going to work. Changing, just a million things, right? And I see Heather says, moving out of my parents' house at 19 was risky, but I did fine, right? Like, I don't know that I ever lose the fear of risk taking. I can just move through it quicker. But there are things that I'm taking risks on, like as I grow my business and as I grow as a person, like I keep taking risks and I keep taking bigger and different risks. And I can't say that it's not. I kind of like that fear is there. I like fear being my touch, should I do this? It's just like my touch point for okay, let me evaluate this. Let me think about it. Have I mitigated risk? Have I done this stuff? Okay, great. Go, right? But I can move through it a lot quicker than I could 6, 7, 8 years ago. And there were sometimes I was taking no risk, right? That's why I was in the wrong relationship for a really long time. It's why I was in the wrong job and the wrong career for a really long time, right? But here's the thing, right? The reason that all of that's scary, and again, if you're on, I would love to know what's something that just required a risk. Where's a risk that you took? What's a risk that you took in your life and it worked out? I would love to know, right? A risk that was scary at the time, you took it, it worked out. I would love, in anything, in any area, I would love to know. But the reason it's scary, right, is because you don't have a guarantee that it's going to work. You don't know that it's going to work out or how it's going to work out, right? I didn't know if I would, like I said, pass the bar exam. I didn't know if I'd win a trial when I took trial work. I didn't know if my 35 dates project would go well. I didn't know if the coach that I hired, and I mean, I'm telling you, right, the coach that I have now, I've had her for 3 years, and I'm at the highest investment with her ever, right? So somebody asked me, how much do you pay your coach, Rita? I'm trying to figure it out because it's not a set fee, right? And what I mean by that is I'm in a mastermind group with her now. So I did private coaching with her for a couple of years. And now I'm in a mastermind group with other people at my level of business. And we pay her, I think it's $1,000 a month, but we also pay her a certain percentage of the money that we generate, right? So what I pay her depends on how much money I make. So we're both invested, right? And making money and making sure that all works out. But when I first hired her, I remember it was $800 a month or something like that I paid her for private coaching a few years ago. And I was like, ooh, I was like, okay, it was scary. I had enough for the first payment. I did not have like the money on lockdown for the second, third, fourth, you know, I mean, I did, but I didn't feel like I did, right? But I did it, right? When I hired the assistants that I was talking about, I didn't know that I'd recoup the investment that I was making in them, right? But I had no guarantee of outcome. And here's what I see holding a lot of people back. If they don't have a guarantee in the outcome, they tend to not take the action. And people who suffer from perfectionism, this is more true than anyone else ever, right? So I'm just curious, and if you're watching on replay, feel free to like chime in and let me know. So 2 questions I've asked. 1, where is a risk that you took in your life and it worked, right? And it paid off? Like, where's a risk that you took? You were terrified, it was scary, and it completely worked out in your favor, right? And the second thing is like, where is something right now that you want to be taking action on? You want to be doing something, but because you're not 100% sure it will work, you're not taking action on it. I would love to know. Oh, Amber, hey girl. Susie says, I moved from Philadelphia to Florida. I've been in and out of school all my life. I'm so far in debt with student loans, girl. I get you. But I'm making that a goal to pay it off, right? It's my goal, so I'm all in on that. And all I have is a BA in social science. How about, hell yeah, I have a BA in social science, right? Like, hell yeah, I have a BA in social science. Not all I have, right? And I don't even use it. Girl, I got a law degree, right? But I don't believe you don't even use it, right? I mean, technically, yes, I'm not using my law degree and that I'm not practicing law to the public, but everything I learned to get that degree, everything I was able to do, all the classes I took, all the people I met, all the thoughts it gave me, all the skills, all the ability, I couldn't be where I am today without it, right? So I don't believe for a second, Susie, that all of that didn't put you where you are today, right? So I love your trajectory, Susie. I love it. But yes, like, we take actions all the time and we don't know if they're going to work out, right? So people are like, hey, you know, I'm not going to start a newsletter because I don't know if anybody's going to read it. I'm not going to start a Facebook Live. I'm not going to start a Facebook group because I'm not sure that people are going to join. Hey, I'm not going to take that step and start that thing or start that action or do this because I'm not sure it's all going to work out. I'm not going to start my own business because I don't know if clients are going to sign up with me. I'm not going to go on this date because I'm not sure that it's going to turn into a relationship, right? As a dating coach, I would hear that like all the time. So again, if you're hopping on, if you're watching on replay, please let me know 2 things. Number 1, where is a risk that you took in your life? Something that was scary. It felt scary, but you did it and it worked out. And number 2, where is something what's something you want to do right now that feels really scary? And so you're not taking action on it. You're not starting because you don't have a guarantee that it'll work out, right? So I listed almost everything in my life where I had no guarantee that it was going to work out, and it all felt terrifying and it all felt scary, and I did it anyway. But here's what I had. Here's why I was able to do it, even though I didn't have a guarantee in the outcome. I had trust in myself. I had full and complete trust in myself. I had trust to know that I would show up and take the actions that I needed to take for the thing that I decided to do. And I also had trust that I could navigate anything that resulted from taking the action, right? So like, I knew that, like, let's go with taking the bar exam, right? I knew that I would show up, I could trust myself to study for the bar, do everything I needed to do for that, show up, take the bar, be fully in, be fully concentrated, and I trusted that I could navigate whatever happened. So if I passed the bar exam, awesome, I could totally navigate that. If I didn't pass, which, spoiler alert, did not pass the first time taking the bar, y'all, I knew I could navigate that, and I did, right? I was able to successfully navigate it. I didn't know how. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I took the Virginia bar. I've taken 3 bar exams. Like, I took the Virginia bar exam, and I took the Virginia bar exam twice. So I didn't pass it on the first time. I passed it on the second time. I took the North Carolina bar, passed out on the first time, took the Arizona bar, passed out on the first time. But Virginia is super hard, y'all. But I trusted myself, right? That I could navigate whatever happened. A lot of people, they wouldn't even go to take the bar exam until they just felt like they knew, until they were assured that I will pass the exam. And a lot of those people, they didn't ever take the bar exam, ever. I know people that never ended up taking it because you can kind of guesstimate and assume, I think I've taken enough practice exams that I'm going to pass, but you never know. Like, you don't know what the exam is going to be. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So, like, while I didn't have a guarantee in the outcome of all of these actions I took, 35 dates in 35 days, starting my own law firm, quitting the law, being a dating coach, starting this, right? Hiring my assistant, hiring my next assistant, hiring my first coach, hiring another coach, like all of this stuff, right? Putting out a program and seeing if it fills. Like, I had like educated guesses, right, that things were going to work, but I did not have a guarantee. But I had trust. I had trust in me. I had trust in my ability to either do the things to make it work or to make whatever happened work out to my best interest. So a lot of people come to me saying, Rita, I'm not taking action on this thing. I'm not asking for the sale. And again, I would love to know what your thing is that you're not taking action on, right? A lot of people are like, hey, I'm not asking for the sale. I'm not starting this series. I'm not pitching the media. I'm not, because I don't know how it's all going to turn out. And Rita, I think what I'm afraid of is fear of failure, right? Or I'm afraid of fear of rejection. Or I'm afraid of other people's opinions, right? I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me. I'm afraid of people saying no. I'm afraid of that constant rejection. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of doing it wrong. I'm afraid of making a mistake. I'm afraid of saying something wrong. I'm afraid to get up on stage and do a talk because what if I say the wrong thing, or what if I sound silly, or what if people don't like me, or what if they're bored, right? Like, people come to me saying, I'm not doing this stuff because of all this fear. Susie says, I've always wanted to stay home and craft all day and get paid for it. I've learned that the retail aspect isn't the way to achieve that, right? I just started Bring Your Own Craft. It's a virtual space, ooh, fun, where people can work on their project of choice and meet new people from the comfort of their own home. It's a blast, so much fun. Oh, I love this. And I've learned from my first group that this is very motivational. After a 2-hour craft, so there's like a foundation there for something, right? It's kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if this is going to work, if me creating a business out of this Bring Your Own Craft is going to work, but like, you're taking steps, right? And what I love about this, right, is it shows what really the issue is, right? When people say, I'm scared of failure, I'm scared of rejection, I'm scared of other, they're not really usually afraid of it. So here's an example I always give. When I was a dating coach, I kind of always use this example, right? People would go, oh, I hate online dating. I hate it. I hate online dating so much. Like, trust me, I heard that all the time. I hate online dating, and I'm afraid of online dating, right? But then they would want me to help them craft an online dating profile. Okay, so they would want me to help them craft an online dating profile. They would want me to help them get online, navigate being online. But they would be like, I hate it. I'm terrified of it. I'm scared of it. Don't want to do it. And I called BS on that. I was like, you are not afraid of that. And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, I'm afraid of clowns. Okay, I'm terrified of clowns. I'm afraid of clowns. My name is Rita, and I'm afraid of clowns, right? But I'm not thinking about them. I'm not trying to put up a profile I'm not trying to like figure out how to navigate the circus, right? Like, I'm not like buying a ticket to the circus. I'm not going to the clown convention. Like, I'm not doing any of that, right? They're not even in my head. Like, I go an entire day and I never, ever, 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 ever think about clowns, right? Because I'm terrified of them. So when you really are scared of the thing, it won't even pop into your head. So if you're like, oh, I'm terrified of webinars, Rita, can you help me put up a webinar? You ain't afraid of webinars, right? You're not afraid of webinars. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are afraid of what could result from doing the webinar. So you are afraid of rejection. You are afraid that you'll say something wrong. You are afraid people won't like you, or they're going to think you're boring. But you're not scared of webinars. Does that make sense? So like, often we stop at the wrong fear. I'm afraid of doing Facebook Lives. No, you're not, or you wouldn't be asking me how to do a Facebook Live, right? You're not afraid of asking for the sale or you wouldn't be coming to me for sales coaching, right? You're not afraid to start your own business, or you wouldn't be coming to me to find out how do I start my own business. You're not afraid to raise your prices, or you wouldn't come to me to find out how to raise your prices. Does that make sense? When you're really afraid of something, it's not even in your world. It's not even on your radar. You're not even thinking about it. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that that makes sense, right? So, right, that's the first part, right? The second part then is like, okay, so what are you afraid of? Well, you're afraid of what could happen as a result. You're afraid of what could happen if you put your online dating profile up. You're afraid of what will happen if you do a Facebook Live. You're afraid of what could happen, right? The results, the reactions from the action, right? But that's not even the right place to stop, right? So some people are like, oh, well, I'm just scared of other people's opinions. So, okay, or I'm afraid that I'll get it wrong. So let me just do some research, right? And I'll make sure that I do it right. And yes, that's a part, but if you never get to the root cause, right, then you're never going to solve the right equation. And what I mean by that is, again, right, let's go with the Facebook Live, right? I want to do a Facebook Live, Rita, but I'm terrified of going on video. No, you're not. Or you wouldn't ask me how to do a Facebook Live. We already know that, right? So you're afraid of what can happen as a result of doing the Facebook Live. But that's not deep enough. The reason that you're afraid of what could happen, the reason you're afraid of failure, sounding wrong, rejection, other people's opinions, is because you doubt yourself. You don't doubt it. You don't doubt its ability to be successful. You doubt yourself to show up and do the things to make it successful, or to navigate whatever happens if it's not successful according to your definition. Does that make sense? Are we there? Yes, no? And if you're on replay, let me know too. Say, it makes sense. That's how I'll know where you are in the video. So if you're watching live, does that make sense? Write down, it makes sense. If you're watching on replay, let me know if it makes sense. If it doesn't, say it does not make sense, Rita, right? So people are always like, well, what if somebody says no? What if it doesn't work? What if nobody wants to pay my prices? What if I do it wrong? What if they think I'm not good at what I do? What if I look like an idiot? What if I get rejected? What if I hear a no, right? So what happens then is you start second guessing your decision, okay? So here's the way that that looks in my world. In like the date coaching world, I see somebody commented, but my computer's gonna be weird. Not let me scroll down and see. Oh, Monica, hi. Monica's like, it makes sense. Susie says it makes sense. So here's the way it happens to put it in hiring a coach, right? Because I'm a coach, so this is what I come up with all the time, and I've hired a coach. So like I go through this, right, on my own all the time, like all the time. Every time I'm at the next level, right, I go through this, but. Some people will go, I think I want to hire a business coach. I think I want to hire an assistant. I think I want to buy this software, right? But we're going to stick with me because I want to talk about me. But they're like, I think I want to hire, and I think I want to do it. And they'll tell somebody, I'm going to hire a coach. And they'll start planning for it. They start like visualizing it. They start seeing it. But when it comes time to do it, they stop, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, well, what if it doesn't work? What if I hire the coach and I can't afford to pay them? What if I hire the coach and I don't make the money that I think I'm going to make from hiring the coach? What if the information the coach gives me doesn't work? What if it all doesn't work? So then you start second guessing your decision. The thing you decided that you know is good for you and will move your business forward and will move your life forward, right? You decide it, you're excited about it, and then at some point you start getting this, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't go the way I thought? What if I sound so, what if? So you start second guessing it. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe this isn't the right decision for me. And then that just keeps you in more uncertainty. And the more uncertain you are, the more you consume. And the more you consume, the more uncertain you are. And the more uncertain you are, the more you consume. And you can't get out of that freaking loop. You have to break the loop. Does that make sense? Are we there? Yes, no? Like a lot of people fell off when I started using me as an example. But it's the world I know the best, right? Susie says, for me, I always thought of it as a fear of success, not being able to keep up or following through with what I started. So that is not fear of success, right? Fear of success is like, I literally don't want to be successful, right? You're getting right to my point, Susie, right? Fear of not being able to keep up or follow through is just not trusting yourself. You don't have trust in yourself. You don't have trust in yourself to show up and take the actions, right? To show up and take the actions consistently. You don't have trust in yourself to navigate whatever happens if you take the action or whatever happens if you don't take the action to make whatever the result is of action or inaction work out for you. See what I'm saying? Like that links right to it. That's a lack of trust in yourself. But if we think, oh, it's just fear of success, then you're like journaling around how I love money and I love success and I love people and I love, but that doesn't make you trust yourself, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes when we're solving for the wrong thing, we're not actually solving anything, right? So most of this is linked to, so let me finish the loop, right? So when you start second guessing yourself and you're like, I don't know if this thing that I've decided is the right thing for me anymore, right? And you're going to blame it on fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of other people's opinions, fear of like whatever, right? Then, like I said, that keeps you consuming. And when you consume, it's just more of it and it's more fear, right? But what you're doing is you're searching for the assurance that it will work. Like you keep searching for assurance that it will really work. This will work. Because you're not solving for, oh, it's that I don't trust myself. Right? So like Susie said, right? It's like you keep saying, well, wait a minute. I need to make sure that if I'm successful, that I'm going to love my life or that this is actually going to, but that's not really it, right? Like with the coach example again. When people are like, oh, I don't know, well, hiring a coach or hiring an assistant or paying for the software, whatever that investment is, right? When people are like, well, I don't know, will it actually get me the results I want? So then you start second guessing yourself, right? You think, oh, well, I'm just afraid that it's not going to work. I'm afraid that it'll fail. I'm afraid that that's not the right information. I'm afraid, right, of this. So you keep researching to find the thing that you can get an assurance will work. Oh, well, I'm not 100% sure that hiring this assistant will actually net me back my money. So let me keep looking for the thing that will net me back my money. I'm not sure that this coach will help me get my money back. Let me keep looking for the thing that I can get the assurance on first that I will recoup my investment right before I do it. Right? Which of course never comes because you can't have that kind of assurance, right? There's nothing that's like totally like I'm assured of that. Does that make sense? But that's not really the issue. The issue is you don't trust yourself. So in the coach or the assistant example, right, what it is, okay, so what if this coach doesn't help me recoup the money? No coach is just helping you recoup money. Like the coach is telling you the things you need to do, right? And a way you need to show up to get the money, right? If you trusted, right, your ability to show up and do the things, right, then that wouldn't be an issue, right? The coach is also like going to tell you certain things. And if you were like, well, I don't know if it won't work out. If you trusted yourself to make it work out or to navigate the situation, right? To say, hey, you're in breach of your contract, or hey, like this strategy is not working very well. What can we do about it? Or like, hey, like I'm going to pivot with this. Like, that's my point. If you trust yourself, if you trust your ability to show up and take action, or you trust your ability to navigate any result, whether it works or it doesn't work, so you trust yourself, right? Then it won't really matter if you get an assurance about the thing or not. Like a lot of people are like, well, what if I hire the wrong assistant? I know I need an assistant, Rita, but what if I hire the wrong one? What if you hire the wrong one? What are you gonna do? They're not stuck with you forever. You're not stuck with them forever. Like if you trusted yourself to do the things up front to hire the right assistant, right? Then that wouldn't be a concern that would stop you. And if you also trusted yourself to navigate whatever happens as a result of hiring an assistant, that wouldn't stop you. If you're like, oh, well, I trust myself to show up and do the best I can do and hire the right assistant, and whatever results from that hire, I can navigate. If it's the right person, awesome, I can continue navigating that. If it's the wrong person, cool, I can also continue navigating that. Does that make sense? Are we like, yes, no, right? So the issue isn't fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of other people's opinions. It's a fear. It's not a fear. It's a lack of trust. It's a lack of trust in yourself. I always tell people when they're hesitating for coaching, for example, usually the reason why people who aren't even wanting coaching, they're not going to have a clarity call with me, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. So the people who have a call with me, they have a call with me because they're pretty sure that coaching is going to change their business, right? I mean, they're at the point where they've pretty much kind of decided that it's going to change. So if people have a call for an assistant or put up a post for an assistant, like they're pretty sure an assistant's going to change their life or change their business, right? So what happens then, to kind of paint the picture of this in a hypothetical, is that people will be like, okay, cool, like I'm pretty sure business coaching is going to change my life, right? And then they get on the phone with me and then they're like, oh, I don't know, Rita, I'm not sure and I have to think about it. I always know it's one of these things. Either they don't believe that I'm a good coach, so after talking to me, right, and not everybody does, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I had one woman, I'll do like a little side story. I had one woman just say to me recently, Rita, I love your strategy. I love your Facebook Live videos. I love everything about you that I see. Like, it's great. I want to hire you to be my business coach, but I don't need to do the mindset stuff you always talk about, okay? Like, I don't want to do any of that. I really just want strategy. I just want you to tell me the actual strategic things to do. I don't ever really want to work on mindset. Not your cup of tea. I'm not going to work out for you. I'm not going to be a good fit for you, right? It's not going to work. I'm not the right coach for you. So I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? Or everything that I do and how I do it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? So when people are like, oh, when they're on the phone with me, they were pretty sure that coaching with me would change their life, but they get on the phone and they say no. It's one of these things, hands down, time and time again. Either, right, they don't believe that I will actually, like, that I'm a good fit, that coaching will change their life, that business coaching, that my business coaching will change their business and their life. So they do not believe that, right? Okay. But if they believe that, if they're like, no, Rita's a good coach and Rita's going to change my life and Rita's going to change my business. And so I hope what you guys are hearing is also why people might object to you. Okay. So while I'm talking about why people object to me, this is also showing why people could object to you and how to navigate some of these objections, right? So I hope you're listening for that, right? So either it's, I don't trust that this will get me the results I want, right? But if they did trust that, if they were like, no, I know Rita's a good coach. I know she knows her stuff. I know she knows business coaching. I know that this is it. I know that Rita's a good coach and she could get results in business. But they're still not moving forward. It's because they don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves to show up in the way that they need to and take the actions that they need to get the results that they're wanting, right? Or they don't trust that they can navigate whatever happens from taking the action, right? Does that make sense? That's what a lot of your people are going through with objections as well, okay? So how do I handle that? How do I deal with that, right? Well, because I know it's a lack of trust, so I'll verify, like, are you certain, like, let me just ask a question, like, are you certain that coaching with me will bring you results? Like, do you feel comfortable with that? Is there anything where you're not comfortable in that? And they'll talk that through and they'll say, hey, like, maybe I'm not 100% sure how this will get me the results, and we can talk about that. But usually they're like, no, Rita, I know you're good. I know you're going to get me the results. I'm not worried about that, right? So then I'll say, okay, so let's have a talk about them while you're, and they're like, well, Rita, here's the thing. I don't have $6,000 to work with you. I have $1,000. I have the first month's payment, but I don't have any more than that, right? So I need to wait until I have all $6,000, which isn't true, right? It's an investment, right? I'm in it, like, I paid for my coach without any more than the first payment. So I get the fear, right? But here's why that stops us, right? It's because we don't trust that we're going to do the things we need to do to continue to make the money we need to make the payment, or that we can figure it out. So I had a client who was she's still my client. And she was concerned about this when she hired me. But she heard one of my videos and she was like, forget it. I trust myself. I'm going to trust myself, right? And she said she had enough for the first 2 payments of coaching with me, but she didn't have the money after that, right? And I said, whatever, let's trust yourself. Let's trust your ability to show up and do it. And she's on month 5 right now, 4 or 5. And I mean, she's made every payment. She's like, oh my gosh, Rita, I always work it out. Like, I always figure it out. I always get the money I need to make the payment for you. Like, I'm always figuring it out, right? Like, because she trusted herself. And she trusted that, let's say for 1 month, she like didn't have it. She was like, I trust that I can tell you about that. I trust that you're going to help coach me through it. I trust that we're going to figure something out. Like, I just trust in my ability to navigate the situation to work it out. Now, we haven't gotten to do that because she's trusted in herself to take the actions, right? And she's done it. But that's what I mean. Do you guys see this? I really want you to see this. That it's not a fear of failure, rejection, or other people's opinions as much as it is, I don't trust myself to show up and do the things I need to do to get the results I want, or I don't trust myself to navigate whatever happens, right, from taking the action. So if I trusted myself to do Facebook Lives well, right, so that I get engagement and I get clients from them, then of course I'm going to do Facebook Lives, right? But let's say that I don't trust that I'm like, well, what happens if I don't get clients from doing Facebook Lives? If I trust myself to navigate getting no clients from a Facebook Live, then I'm not going to worry about that, right? Because I know that I can get clients from another way, or that there's something else I can do, or I'll have a mitigation plan in place. Does that make sense? Are you guys like getting this? Yes, no, right? So then the key is to trust yourself, right? So how do you do it? How do you trust yourself enough that you can stop searching for guarantees to take action? So people won't hire an assistant till they know that that assistant is going to be the right fit. People won't hire a coach till they know that they'll generate the money back from hiring the coach. People won't raise their prices till they know that people will pay for the new prices. People won't launch a program till they know that that program is going to fill. Meaning they never do it. They never raise their prices. They never launch the program. They never hire the coach. They never hire the assistant, as long as they're in that place of needing the guarantee and needing the assurances. Because the reason they need the guarantee and the assurances is they don't trust themselves. The minute that they trust themselves, they no longer need the guarantee or assurances, and they just start taking the action. So are we cool there? Are we getting that piece, right? So how do we, Susie says yes, right? So like, for example, I'm going to share with you a story of a client I had, Carrie. And Carrie was a lawyer. She still is a lawyer. And her business was doing well. Like, she had more work than she could handle. She needed assistance. She needed a team. She needed to hire team members, right? But she had a lot of rules around money. She had rules around money that she inherited from her parents. She had rules around money that she just inherited from like all different stages of her life, right? And so her efficiency in her office was super low because she had old equipment, right? She had like inherited a rule that you don't replace a piece of equipment till it dies. You don't replace a car till it's run down. You don't buy a new laptop until the laptop has breathed its last breath, right? Like, she had these rules, right? So she had technology. She wasn't like doing like handwriting or carbon copies, but it was really old, outdated, slow equipment. The printer was slow, the computer was slow, like everything was freaking slow. So she had no team, and she had outdated equipment that like was working, but collectively caused her like a lack of efficiency, right? Like a lack of productivity. And so like her secretary would always have to reboot the computer. She had a secretary, but her secretary would always have to reboot the computer, right? It was always like freezing up. And I remember the copy machine, when she took me into her office to see the copy machine, it was for a home. It was like a home copy. You know the difference between a big office copier, yes? And like a home copier? She had a home copier in her law office. Have you seen how many papers like a lawyer goes through in a day, right? I was like, oh no. So she didn't have the full team she needed, and she had old, outdated office equipment, and she had these rules around money about when you would invest and when you couldn't. So like I kept digging with her. And she just kept saying, Rita, can you give me a marketing strategy? Let me get a marketing strategy from you so I can make more money so that I can hire a team. Let me get a marketing strategy from you, Rita, so that I can make more money so I can buy the big fancy office printer, right? Rita, let me get the marketing strategy. And I was like, you know, that's not the way it works. It's not by marketing differently and then getting more money will you take care of these things. It's by taking care of these things that you will make more money, right? A marketing strategy isn't going to help you make more money when your office equipment is broken and you're at capacity and you don't have an assistant and you don't have a team. But she's like, I need more money to get the new equipment and to get the team. And I'm like, no, it's only by getting the team and buying the equipment that you're gonna make more money, right? That's the investment piece. That's what Roger and I talk in the podcast episode about this week. So if you haven't listened to the Rita Made Me Do It show podcast from today, the 26th, which is episode 15, it is great. Roger's an investor and he talks about risk taking and making investments. But I want you, do you guys see this? And if you're watching on the replay, I would love to know, but like a lot of people are like, I'll get the team after I make money. I'll get the equipment after I make money. I'll get the coach after I get a first couple of clients. Like, no, it's only by getting the coach that you're going to get the clients. It's only by hiring the assistant that you're going to have the time freed up to go make more money. It's only by getting the better equipment that you're going to like free up all of this time to make more money, right? So we talked all about it, right? And it turns out I really learned about her money rules. She'd grown up in a house with parents who spent frivolously, right? They just spent, I mean, super frivolous, right? They just spent their money willy-nilly, right? Spent their money willy-nilly. But they could never pay the bills. They could never pay the bills on time, right? So when she got to college, she repeated that behavior. She mirrored that behavior. Like she went out and lived the way that they did, right? But like over the course of 20 years, she changed that. She got out of debt. She saved in her retirement account. She started her own law firm, but yet she still couldn't trust herself to spend money wisely. That's where the lack of trust was. She didn't trust herself to spend money wisely because her parents hadn't, and because she had mirrored that and she hadn't. So even though for 20 years she had spent money wisely, she still didn't trust herself to spend it wisely, which is why she had all of these rules and restrictions around when you could spend money and when you couldn't, and what needed to be true before you could spend money, right? But the rules weren't based on facts. The rules weren't based on anything real. They were all made up in her head, right? And so not only were the rules not based on facts, but like they weren't getting her where she needed to go. The rules she put in place were keeping her from being able to do the things that would get her to the next level, right? And get her where she needed to go. It just, those rules, all they did was keep her from having to take uncomfortable actions. Does that make sense? It was uncomfortable to hire a team before she had the money to support them for a whole year on paper. It was uncomfortable to go buy the huge big office copy machine and sign that lease without knowing she had all the money for all the payments, right? So having rules around what had to be true stopped her from being uncomfortable. And the reason she was uncomfortable was because she didn't trust herself to spend money wisely because of all that old stuff, right? So we created a plan that was a non-marketing plan. We created that mindset plan, right? That allowed her to believe in herself and trust in herself and trust in her ability to make investments and to spend money wisely, and trust that if she made an investment and it didn't work out the way she wanted, that she could navigate whatever resulted. So we worked really hard on her belief and her trust in herself, right? And then she was able to implement the marketing plan. So after 3 months of doing the mindset / a little bit of marketing, right, she had a staff. She had that printer she wanted. She had the computer she wanted. She had a lot of equipment, right? She doubled. In 3 months, she doubled her monthly revenue. It went from $12,000 a month to $24,000, right? Like, and it only kept doubling like a couple of months thereafter, like till she got to where she wanted to be, like a big time law firm, right? And that was because she had to trust herself, right? So how do you do it, right? I hope this is resonating with you guys. Like if you're watching on replay, I would love to know, is this ringing true to you? Is this sounding like, oh my gosh, this is a block that I didn't know I had? Like I see myself in some of this. I would really love to know, right? But so how do you do it, right? Taking action before you see results, you know, taking action like on things that will create huge shifts in your finances, huge shifts in the opportunities coming your way, huge shifts in your business, huge shifts in all that big success, right? It all requires taking a risk. There will be things you have to do where you are investing either money, time, energy, attention, or usually all of it, without having guarantee that you're going to get the result that you want. So that means you have to learn how to embrace discomfort. Okay, so you have to learn how to embrace the discomfort that comes from things like putting out an offer before you know people will buy it, investing in a business coach, pitching yourself to speak at an event without knowing if you're going to be selected, right? All of this stuff, and all of that's really scary. But the only way that you can do any of it is to believe in yourself, trust in your ability to take the action, trust in yourself to navigate whatever happens, right? So how do you develop that strong belief? How do you develop that strong belief in yourself? Number one, know your core values. That's number one. Number one, know your core values. When you make decisions from a place of your core values, your self-esteem raises. So I've talked about this before in videos, but I'll explain it really quickly. So we are made up of three things, okay? We have something like a big cloud. I need a whiteboard with this, like a big cloud over your head called self-concept, okay? And self-concept is made up of three things. 1, 2, 3, okay? Self-concept is made up of your self-ideal, who you would be if you were the perfect person, right? If you were living your perfect ideal life, making all the decisions you want to make, doing everything you want to do, and that is in alignment with your core values. Your core values live within your ideal self, okay? So you're made up of your ideal self. You're made up of your actual self. What are you doing? What choices are you making every day, right? And then we have our self-esteem, which is how much we like ourselves, okay? So how much we like ourselves. Here's how they work together. The more that your actual self is making decisions in alignment with your ideal self, the higher your self-esteem. So when our actual selves are making decisions in alignment with our core values, right, we like ourselves more. If like nutrition is a core value of mine and I'm eating a whole pizza, I'm not gonna feel really good about myself. My self-esteem kind of drops, right? But if like myself, in my ideal life, I'm eating strawberries and bananas and like all of this like nourishing food, right? If in my ideal life I'm doing all of that, right? And then in my actual life I'm doing it, then that's in alignment and my self-esteem goes up. But if in my ideal life I'm eating all the bananas and all the strawberries and all the nourishing food, but in my actual life I'm eating a whole pizza, then I don't like myself very much. My self-esteem goes down. The reason that that's important is when your self-esteem is high, you trust yourself more, and fear of failure, rejection, and other people's opinions gets lower. When your self-esteem is low, right, then fear of failure is high. Fear of failure, rejection, other people's opinions is high, right, because you don't like yourself very much. So you're going to worry about what other people think and what could happen, right? So it's important that your self-esteem is high so that you trust yourself. And to get your self-esteem high, there's only one way to do it, only one way. You have to make decisions every day that are in alignment with your ideal version of yourself, meaning you have to be clear on who that person is, and that's rooted in your core values. Okay, that's rooted in your core values. So number one, know your core values, right? That's the first thing, know your core values. That will help you trust yourself. Number two, get very clear about your strengths and your skills, right? And this comes from doing a self-inventory. And I've talked about these before, right? But self-inventory is everything. All of your education, all of your experiences, personal, work, professional. I mean, did you learn how to fix a toilet? I always say that. Did you learn how to fix a toilet? Congratulations. Did you plan your grandmama's like 50th surprise party, anniversary party, or whatever? Cool. That all comes with a bunch of experience, right? That all goes on the self-inventory. Every little skill that you used, everything you did. So all of your education, all of your experiences, your background, all of it, do a really complete self-inventory. So you know your strengths, you know your skills, you know what you've navigated, you know what you've done, right? And then number three, you can search that self-inventory for evidence, right? Which is what I was talking to you guys at the beginning about, like evidence of I've made a decision and it worked out. I've made a decision in the past that was scary before and it worked out. Or I made a decision that was scary and I made it work out. Or I made a decision that was scary and it didn't work out and I still navigated that and I still figured it out and everything still ended up okay. So when you find evidence, right? So first know your core values, then do a self-inventory, like I said. And once you have that, you can scan that self-inventory for evidence. Evidence that you can take the actions, evidence that you can show up, evidence that you can do the things that it requires, and also evidence that you can navigate whatever results from taking the action, okay? Then you have to make sure that you ignite your joy. So in my podcast, right, if you listen to today, I have a segment in every episode. You guys, if you have not submitted your recording for this segment, I don't know why, right? I don't know why. Every episode, I highlight somebody for the She's All In, She Went All In segment. And it just is a person talking for 1.5 minutes about their business and how they went all in. So it's a great way to advertise your business. But the girl today, Rachel Peavy, right, she talked about how she had been working a job in PR, corporate job, and it was not igniting her joy. It just was not making her happy. It was not lighting her up, right? So she doubted everything she was doing. She doubted every decision. She doubted whether she should be there. When she knew her core values, when she knew her strengths and her skills and she did the self-inventory, and then she picked something. She started her own business, a money coaching business that really ignited her joy. She trusted herself more. Where do you submit what? Rajika, to yourself. You submit it to yourself, right? So when you know your core values, and when you do a self-inventory, and then you look at your self-inventory, and you're finding evidence in your ability to show up and take action. So you're looking at your self-inventory. This shows that I can show up and take action. Susie, what you were talking about, this shows that I can be consistent. This shows that I can do it. This shows that I have the ability to take scary actions, to do uncomfortable things, to show up, to be consistent. This is all proof of that I've done it before. This is all evidence, right? Or proof that even if things don't work out, I have the ability to navigate those and make it still work out to my favor. That's what you're looking for in your self-inventory. Then you can ignite your joy. You can say, okay, now that I know what my values and to make decisions in alignment with my values, now that I have my self-inventory done, now that I've seen all the evidence I need to see to know, hey, I can take action. Or, hey, like if I take action and it doesn't work out, I can navigate whatever happens. I got this, right? Then you feel comfortable to do the thing that lights you up, that ignites your joy, right? And that allows you to get clear about your business. When you have clarity around your business, that also allows you to trust yourself. When you know exactly what your goal is, right? When you know what the strategy is, when you know and you have the support and the resources that you need, right? Then, so all of these 5 things. Oh, to be on your podcast and to be highlighted. Sorry. Forgot I talked about that right then in that moment. Oh, I'm so ready for Thanksgiving. So you record if you listen to this week's podcast, it tells you how to do it. But you record a 1.5-minute audio, right? Giving your name, your business name, right? Who you help and what you do, and a story about how you have gone all in on your business, and then one way people can follow you to find out more. So the whole clip should be no more than 1.5 minutes long. Right? So your name, the name of your business, who you help, what you help them with, and how you've gone all in on your business, or a story about you going all in or what it means to go all in, and then one way that they can follow you. No more than 1.5 minutes. Record that audio and submit it to feedback@ritamademedowit.com. Feedback@ritamademedowit.com. Okay, guys? Yeah, okay. So if you know your core values, if you complete a self-inventory, if you scan the self-inventory and highlight all the evidence of your ability to take action, of your ability to take risk, of your ability to show up for the things you want, of your ability to navigate results, whatever happens, right? And then you go, what lights me up? What makes me happy? And then you get very clear about your business. What is my business? Who am I helping? What am I doing? What are the places? What am I all in on, right? Which is what I help people do. Then taking risks, right, becomes something you can easily do because you trust yourself. Because taking risks that are in alignment with your values, that use your strengths, that generate a feeling of enthusiasm and align with your overall business mission, right? So when you're taking risks that are in alignment with your values, that utilize those strengths, that generate that feeling of enthusiasm, and also align with your business mission, it will always bring you success if you trust yourself and you trust your ability to navigate whatever happens. And that trust comes from those things, right? So on Friday, there's going to be a post, right? And it's a little paragraph where you fill in the blanks. I want you to watch on Friday for that paragraph. And when it comes up, I'm not going to give it to you early, but I want you to fill it out. I want you to participate on that post, right? But this is it. This is the key, guys. It's not fear of failure. It's not fear of rejection. It's not fear of other people's opinions. It's usually either doubt that this thing will work. So back to the business coaching example. If people don't hire me, they either don't believe that business coaching will get them the results that they want, or they don't believe I am a good business coach and will get them the results that they want. But if they do, if they believe, yes, business coaching works, yes, Rita can get me the results, then the reason they're saying no is they doubt themselves. They don't trust themselves to show up and do the things that they need to do to make it work, or to navigate whatever happens. But once you have that trust, you can take any risk. You can hire the business coach. You can hire the assistant. Because you trust yourself to do it, to show up and do the things you need to do to make it work. And you also trust yourself to navigate whatever happens if it doesn't work. So it's trust. And all the ways I talked about is the way that you nurture the trust. So anyway, hopefully this helped. And my podcast episode again this week, when I interview Roger Lynn, is about this topic. And he's an investor. His whole business is built on risk. And he talks about how he's able to do it. His thoughts are on time. His thoughts are on money, the relationship, how he's broken the traditional relationship between them, what he's done instead, how that's helped him take risks, everything else that allows him to do the things that he does, how he mitigates risk, how he mitigates potential damage, right? He does risk mitigation. It's a great podcast episode. So if there is something that you are wanting to do, hire a business coach, hire an assistant, buy that software, do a Facebook Live, put out a program, pitch yourself for the media, pitch yourself to speak, whatever it is, and you're not taking action on it, I guarantee that it's either you don't believe that that thing will actually do anything, but if you do, chances are you do believe in it. That's why you're thinking about it, right? Or you wouldn't even think about it at all. So you believe, if you truly believe that this thing will work, that being on the media could help build your business, that selling that program could change people's lives, that whatever, a coach will help you build your business, an assistant will help you free up time. If you really believe that that's true and you're still not taking action on it, it's because you don't trust yourself to do the things you need to do to get that result or to navigate. So you have to work on it, your trust and your belief in yourself, okay? That's what I help clients do. That's what I help clients do. Guys, right now I don't have any coaching spots available for 2019. And as of today, I only have one coaching spot for January. And I think it's 3 coaching spots that I have for February. And then I'm full through July of 2020. If you want to lock in a coaching spot to start working with me in January, February, we've got to get on a call now. Because I'm full, I'm letting people who sign up with a non-refundable deposit hold a spot, but at this year's rates, right? And I've talked about how I raise my prices before, and maybe I'll do that because like it helps people. I don't do big, huge increases every year. I do small incremental increases over the course of the year when I hit certain milestones, right? So I'll do a live on that because I think people are always like, how do you know when to raise your rates? I'll do another live on that as we enter the new year. But right, my rates are going to $1,250 a month next year for private coaching, and right now I'm at $1,000 a month for private coaching. So $250 a month, not huge. Over the course of 6 months, kind of significant, right? $1,500. So I have had people lock in for March. I just had somebody today lock in for one of my final January spots by paying a small non-refundable deposit, and then they're all signed up, right, and ready to go at this year's rates for coaching next year. So I do only have one spot for January. I think it's 3. I have to look. 3 for February, and then I'm booked through July. So if you want that, get on the phone with me. Let's have a clarity call. The link will be in the comments below. We can see if we're a good fit. We can see if I can help, right? But again, if you're hesitant and you're like, I know Rita would change my life. I know Rita's a great coach, right? And you're like, but the money, or but I'm not saying you have to go into, I don't believe in that. I believe that you are an adult and you can figure it out if you want to figure it out. I don't have people go into debt. I don't have people do things that would put them in a place of desperation. You can ask any of my clients. I don't think you make good decisions. In fact, I say that in the podcast today. I don't believe you make good decisions in your business if you're really in a place of desperation and you can't feed yourself and pay the bills and stuff like that. I would never have that, right? I'm just using this as an example. It could be an assistant. It could be anything that you're wanting to do, right? If you believe that that thing that you want to do will bring you results, but you're not doing it, then it's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of not trusting yourself to do the things or to figure it out, whatever happens. So you've got to work on that trust, okay? So hopefully this helped. Listen to the podcast episode. You guys will love it. And guys, have a great Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. And even if you're not and you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I still hope your Thanksgiving day as well, right? It's still Thursday. Hope that you guys do well. I will be on my way to the Poconos tomorrow. I'll be traveling all day tomorrow. You will still see posts from me for my clients. You're probably not going to hear from me tomorrow. Thursday, obviously, day off. I'm going to try to talk to you all tonight if you're a client. Thursday, day off. Friday, I'm going to try to take a day off. I might hop on every now and then. I'm even thinking about doing a Black Friday special. I'm thinking about it. I have not done one ever before. I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I have the energy for it, to be quite honest, but I'm thinking about it. So watch this space. And since I don't have any private coaching spots, I might do a Black Friday special because that might be a way that people can work with me who aren't quite ready for private coaching yet. And then the weekend I come back Saturday. So I'll be back around. But guys, have a great holiday Susie, I'm so glad you liked the podcast. I'm so glad. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Rashika, I'm glad you liked this. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. As always, I will be checking. I will be answering. If you want to have a call with me, let me know. We can get that set up. And I will be talking to you as I can. Have a great holiday, everybody. Bye.